What's crack-a-lackin' nerds and nerdettes? We are rocking out BioShock Infinite. Now, I will say one thing. If you haven't played the original BioShock or BioShock 2, go out and do so. I don't know what you're slacking for, but go out and get BioShock 1 and 2 and play the crap out of them. Because as far as I'm concerned, both of those were absolutely amazing. Now, BioShock Infinite is in the same ballpark. I don't want to say it's... I don't want to say it's the exact same as the first two. There has been some changes that I like, some changes that I don't like. It happens. I'm actually kind of glad that they didn't do another... I'm glad they didn't do a cookie cutter. There are a couple things that a lot of people kind of jump on bandwagons about, this and that and that and this. And I will tell you, first and foremost, the graphics are decent. They're not blow me away graphics as far as I'm concerned. I kind of think they used a lot of the smoke and the light shafts and bloom effects to kind of cover up a rush job in certain areas, which, quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, from an animator standpoint, as long as you don't do it all the time, that's actually not a bad idea. However, they do go a little overboard. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand your first introduction into the game, it's going to be a little gaudy per se. Which is kind of a pun now that I think about it. But either way, I can understand the blooms and the light shafts and the fog and everything at the beginning, but it continues on throughout the game, and it gets kind of old as far as I'm concerned, rather. Now, collision zones throughout the game are annoying as hell at times. It's not one of those things that you have obtusely crappy collision zones or collision boundaries when it involved with different models and what have you. But there have been instances where I've been trying to walk around the map and you get hung up on something that's kind of not there, or you would easily be able to move around or sidestep or strafe, things of that nature, where you just kind of get hung up, and that gets extremely annoying really, really, really quick. The controls are a little bit clunky. The AI occasionally is clunky as well. Not as bad as some other games I've played in the past. Some of their animations need a little bit of help, and the level designs are extremely linear. It's rather graphic at times, and I say that not because of an adult, but I say that in lieu of anybody who may think about buying this for their child. It can be extremely graphic from time to time. Well, not extremely, but it can be rather graphic from time to time, I should say. There is a lot of run and gun involved. You don't really have to worry about stealth. You don't have to worry about doing things a smart way. You could just basically run gun the entire thing, which for some people may be nice. For others, it may be unappealing. It depends on the person. Now, another forewarning on top of the whole gun violence and just completely decimating people with the run and gun. Another, I guess, forewarning for those parents and adults. This game has some interesting what the fuck moments as far as I'm concerned, and that plays into like this obscene and extreme religious undertones and ideologies, and also like racism in essentially slavery for the most part. You see very few black people in this game, and when you do, they are doing the crappiest jobs that scrubbing the floors and washing stuff, and there's Well, there was whites only for the bathrooms, and I believe it said colored and Irish washrooms, which kind of pissed me off. I'm Irish here, and Irish need not apply. But, well, not really pissed me off, but it was one of those things that, like I said, it was, hey, what the fuck? But once you get through all that, the game is rather interesting. I actually don't mind the storyline. I like the storyline, even though it is somewhat confusing. I definitely like the whole steampunk-esque feel that BioShock has brought into this. That just appeals to me. And being a person that's always liked a mashup of the early 20th century and like the steampunk vibe and all this other stuff, I don't mind it. I have played the crap out of this game, and although it lacks in certain aspects, I kind of think they could be ignored. I mean, it is definitely a messed up game. It's definitely got its moments, but it's not absolutely flawless by any means. If I had to rate it, the typical 1 to 10 scale, first and foremost, I'd like to smack the crap out of whoever would think it deserves a 9 or a 10. There's no way in hell. I believe it's kind of overrated, and I think it was overhyped. I think they just literally spent way too much money in their marketing campaign. However, it is, for me, addictive as shit to play. It's one of those things I don't want to get up from the keyboard and walk away and do something else. So, with all that being said, I'd have to probably give it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, the graphics are not absolutely quote-unquote mesmerizing or anything. There's a lot of tomfoolery or little tips and tricks that are used to kind of push this idea of awesome graphics when really they're not. I mean, they're, as far as I'm concerned, par graphics. They're not subpar, but they're not above par either. There's collision issues, there's some lag or some hiccups in lieu of the controls. So I suggest, now that it's been some time and it's come down in price, by all means, go out and buy it. I am sure that it'll make plenty of people happy. I found it, like I said, quite interesting, and I played the crap out of it. And quite frankly, I'll play it through again. It doesn't bother me. I do dislike the sheer fact that I can really only have 2 of my superpowers, quote-unquote. That's what I'm calling them, damn it, because I can't remember what the hell they're called. And I also don't like the sheer fact that I can only have 2 guns, which I probably shouldn't have given that away, but I guess it's not that big of a forewarning or a quote-unquote spoiler, as somebody wants to call it that. Like I said, go out and buy it. It's not expensive. It's relatively cheap, especially used now. But don't get roped into the hype thinking it's going to be absolutely flawless and badass, because it's not. And don't listen to these people that are just completely lambashing it with stuff. Oh, it sucks. It's the worst thing ever. Yada, yada, yada. Like I said, I'd have to give it about a 7. I wish they would have polished it a little bit more and hooked up the graphics, the actual graphics a little bit more, but along with the storyline. But either way, for now, I'm going to be done. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to drop them in the box below. If you found this video informative at all, feel free to hit the like button, the little thumbs up, and by all means hit the subscribe button. But for now, I'm Ghost Gamer, and I'm out of here.